With the recent additions of the OG monster truck and the Maverick, Jailbreak now has 11 trucks. So I thought it would be a fun idea to compare them all with one another and determine which one is the best. Remember, this is just my opinion. You're totally free to disagree with me. Just make sure to be respectful about it in the comments section. If you enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. In last place, we have the semi-truck. Ever since it was added, I've had no compelling reason to use it. It's so slow and it's so large and impractical to use that there is pretty much no reason for me to use it. I had a lot of fun creating chaos with it when it first came out, and it was a lot of fun to block roads with it and cause chaos in the city by cutting off a lot of the roads. But beyond that, it's obviously not good for normal gameplay, so I don't think it's a good vehicle. Then we've got the pickup truck. I know it's beloved by many, but in my opinion, it's easily outclassed by the Jeep, which is free and spawnable, so this vehicle just seems like a waste of money. It's obviously iconic and many people's first purchase in Jailbreak, but I don't think it's actually a good vehicle. Then we've got the firetruck. This vehicle has a pretty good top speed. It seats 6 people, so it's a really solid team vehicle, and it has a couple fun gimmicks, like the fire hose, which can launch people back, and the ladder, which can help for scaling buildings. However, the acceleration really kills this vehicle for me. It takes so long to get going, and although the gimmicks are nice, they're not that helpful for me when it comes to actual gameplay. If I need to get over a high surface, I'll just use a flying vehicle. So I do acknowledge this vehicle has its merits, but it doesn't do much for me. In 8th place, we have the OG monster truck. It was really cool that the devs were able to bring it back for the OG season, especially since they had promised to do so almost 2 years prior. I thought it was a very fitting grand prize. However, as for its capabilities, I can't say I'm all that impressed. It's basically an inferior version of the monster truck we already have, both in terms of looks and in terms of stats. Once the monster truck got revamped back in July 2022, it also got buffed stats. Therefore, the OG monster truck was always going to be a little bit worse. So I definitely understand why it's not as good. However, that doesn't change the fact that I just don't feel the urge to use it when I have a much better option with the current day monster truck. Up next, we've got the Sentinel. This is easily the most forgotten vehicle in the entire game. Nobody uses it. I'm not even exaggerating. I can't remember the last time I've seen anybody use this vehicle, and that's due to the spawn point. It only spawns in the bunker underneath the military base, and you can only get there if you have the VIP game pass or if you reach level 4. And the fact is that 99% of Jailbreak players will not have reached either requirement. They can spawn it in with the Pro Garage, but by the time you have it, you can spawn better vehicles, so it's totally understandable why a lot of people don't use it. It's a shame how much the spawn point holds this vehicle back, because I actually quite like it and I think it's pretty underrated. I've always had an appreciation for it ever since it was added 3 years ago. I absolutely love the look of it, and it's a fantastic vehicle for teams as it's able to seat 7 people. I definitely rank this vehicle better if it had a better spawn point. Then we got the tow truck. It's not the greatest when it comes to stats. It's pretty mediocre in fact, but the fact that you can tow and move vehicles around is a very good thing about it. If you're camping a robbery and you need to make sure the criminal won't be able to escape that easily, you can just spawn in one of these bad boys and remove any means of escape for the criminal. I think that part of it gives it a lot of value. So even though I'm not consistently driving around with it, I think it still has a lot of merit. Then we have the Frost Crawler. I know some of you guys weren't big fans of this vehicle, but I quite enjoyed it and I still like to use it. It's also a great team vehicle as it can seat 6 people, but what really elevates this vehicle for me is the tow cable. This is a better version of the tow truck in every way, in my opinion. If I need to tow a vehicle away and I don't have a helicopter, I tend to spawn this vehicle. It doesn't have a good top speed, but I think the good launch and acceleration definitely make up for it. In 4th place, the Cybertruck. This is one of the quintessential team vehicles for mid-game players. It's very affordable, only costing 100k, and it has very good acceleration and an okay top speed. However, the launch is honestly pretty sluggish and it doesn't work well as an escape vehicle, even though it's spawned right next to the power plant. The multiple spawn points definitely give it a big advantage over some of the other trucks we're talking about here, and it's pretty affordable, but it's not as great as it used to be. Still, I have a soft spot for it. I actually like the IRL Cybertruck. I know it has a lot lot of issues, and I know it has a lot of haters, but I like the look of it. I think it's charming, and I'm going to keep going to bat for it. Kicking off the top 3, we have the Raptor. I live in Texas. I drove a Ford F-150 for almost a year. These trucks are a quintessential part of my state, so I have a huge soft spot for this vehicle, and it helps that this vehicle also has pretty good stats, though they're not amazing. It's one of my most used team vehicles, and it has a lot of charm in my opinion. Although it's definitely dated by the OG design, I feel like this is one of the vehicles that holds up the best. I'm probably blinded a bit by nostalgia goggles here though, and I fully accept that I might be ranking this vehicle a bit too high compared to the other trucks. In second place, we have the latest truck added to the game, the Maverick. Now, to be fair, this could be a case of recency bias. In a few months, I might look back and think, hey, the Maverick's not that good. But I think it's still quite solid and it speaks well for itself. It has really good stats, reaching a top speed of 200 miles per hour, and I can consistently reach about 175 when I'm driving it. Although it can't seat 6 people, 4 is still a good amount for when you're driving around with other Jailbreak players. And I really like the look of this vehicle. This is my favorite looking of all the trucks we've had, and I love how Sardarji, the creator, was able to combine a muscle car with a truck to give us this creation. The cherry on top with this vehicle is that it can regenerate its tires almost instantly after being pitted. So it actually has some unexpected but quite helpful utility.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
But in my opinion, the best truck is easily the monster truck. I'm going to talk about the big issue with it first. My feet always stick out of the vehicle. It's very frustrating, really annoying. Like the Torero, it's something that I just can't get past and always takes me out of the game anytime my camera happens to focus on that part of the vehicle. Putting that nitpick aside, and yes, it is a nitpick, it doesn't mean I hate the vehicle, it's just something that annoys me. This is a fantastic part of Jailbreak. It is one of the best team vehicles. It's quite fun to drive, and since it's so bouncy, you can have a really fun time driving over terrain with it, and it also makes driving more convenient since it can drive right over most other vehicles. This vehicle also has an absolute beast of a design. It's a true menace. I love how it looks. Comparing the two monster trucks side by side, this one is a glow up in pretty much every way, in my opinion. If I'm with a bunch of guys out in the middle of nowhere and we need a new ride, I'm gonna spawn this vehicle most of the time. So that's why it's my favorite of all the trucks. Well, that's going to wrap up my quick ranking of all 11 trucks we've got in Jail. Comment below what your favorite and least favorite trucks are, and if you want, feel free to rank them all yourself. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. Keep an eye out for a couple more videos that should be coming soon, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.